Hey guys, this is Jay Calder from JAYONBOXING here with predictions for the Natasha Jonas versus Mikaela card. And as always, these are just my takes, of course. Your predictions can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all. And of course, before we get started, please like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Share this. Definitely helps and greatly appreciate it. And a little bit of show info here. This is headlined by Natasha Jonas versus Mikaela, and this will be at the Echo Arena in Liverpool, England. Won't be doing my Beatles accent as much as I want to. This will be airing on Sky Sports across the pond and an ESPN in the United States in the welterweight division, with Jonas's IBF welterweight title on the line. In the featured fights, we have Cullen taking on Zak Chelli. This will be at 168 pounds for the British and Commonwealth titles that Cullen possesses at this point, with Mark Jeffers and Jermaine Brown also taking place at 168 pounds with the English title on the line. So a couple of domestic fights there. So, is this the biggest card in the world? No, but it's a decent one, to be honest. For starters, a very solid scrap between two females, headlining with Jonas defending her gold at 147 pounds against a former titleist in Mikaela. Great fight, in my opinion, certainly one that shouldn't be overlooked. Jonas, a great story of kind of sticking to it and having some perseverance, looking to take the biggest scalp of her career, in my opinion. And at the same time, Mayer needs the win. A loss really sends her back to that overused drawing board every boxer that loses mentions, so certainly a big fight for her as well. Also on the undercard, of course, you have a couple of regional titles at super middleweight on the line and some kind of hard to call fights, so could be a little bit of fun there. Fun overall night of fights. So without much more, let's get into them. Starting with the main event here, for Jonas to win, I think the jab will be important for Natasha in this fight. Whether she's looking to attack or to defend, to be perfectly honest. She will need the jab to close the distance and kind of start off some of that offense, get her punches going, kind of get inside the range of Mayer. And also, she just throws much better when she's working off that jab. Most people do, but she certainly can't neglect it in this fight. It also works defensively when Mayer is trying to potentially press her or get her own work going. Jab to kind of offset that rhythm and buy yourself some time and some space so that you can reset. Throw it to kind of stick it out there and keep the work of Mayer off balance and kind of any flow that she has going to kind of throw that off as well. That jab can also occupy Mikaela as you're then going to move downstairs and do some of your work to the body, which I think for you can score very well. You can whip in solid body shots, and you should definitely look to attack that kind of longer frame of Mikaela. Jab her up and down. Of course, you can even jab to the body and then jab to get inside that range and throw her off, then finish by ripping to the body with those harder shots upstairs as well. You also want to make sure that you're testing sort of the lungs of Mayer as she's moving up to 147 pounds. You fought as high as 154. She normally fights at 130. So you definitely can test the stamina and how well she can carry that weight if you're attacking the body, jabbing, and just kind of tiring her with that consistent work. Now, switching over to Mayer, for Mikaela, she doesn't mind coming forward and throwing. At the same time, you don't want to necessarily mix it up on the inside with a potentially bigger fighter, one used to getting hit with bigger blows. You want to use your range and push her back and keep her at the end of your punches. This way, you're getting full extension and staying at a safer range. But it also allows for you to work better combinations because you're not smothering your own work by being too in close. And I think your combinations will be key. If you throw just simple single shots against a potentially naturally bigger fighter, you give too many chances for her to come inside and begin to punish herself. So you certainly don't want to do that. Also, Jonas will shell up at times, so why give her any chance to not do that by keeping your hands at bay? Throw those combinations, keep them from the outside, so it kind of puts the pressure and the onus on her to get her own action going. Give her reason to shell up and pile up the points in the process, while you, of course, snap out those quicker combinations and do it at a range that allows for you to land where she's unable to do the same. And in terms of my pick here, this is a bit of a tricky one, but I am leaning towards the American. I know, I must be biased. But the truth of the matter is I just think the potentially fresher, 6-year younger Mikaela can stay busy and step on the fight as the rounds wear on, at least towards those middle frames. Mayer uses her combination punching and longer shots to score and build something of a lead, and potentially a pretty clear one. In the later frames, maybe in those championship frames, so to speak, the 8th, 9th, 10th round is where Jonas will make it close because I think she's more accustomed to the weight. But I think Mayer does enough to eke out the win. Obviously, whether she gets the nod on that side of the world, it's hard to say, but in any event, winner Mikaela via split decision. Now, heading into the quick picks here, of course, we have, as mentioned, Cullen versus Chelli. This is at 168 pounds, and the British and Commonwealth titles possessed by Cullen are going to be on the line. In my opinion, that won't be for long. Winner, Chelli via mid-fight stop. This is a Bit of a toss-up fight and a good domestic scrap, as the Brits say, so that's always nice. Cullen does have the gold, but I think Chelli is a bit more sturdy and will land the bigger blows as the rounds wear on. Cullen leaves his lead hand low and has been stopped several times. Not a good combination, because I think the overhand shot of Chelli and his strong hooks drop Cullen and finish him in those middle frames in, I guess, a minor upset. And finally here, Mark Jeffers versus Jermaine Brown. This is also for the English title at 168 pounds, possessed by Jeffers. I think Jeffers retains via unanimous decision. I think Brown will make it a fight for the first few frames, but I think the length and smoother work of Jeffers will ultimately pile up and allow for the points to continue to build as he defends his 168-pound domestic gold after, for the most part, Brown kind of runs out of answers and the slower nature of his punches catches up as Jeffers continues to pile up. Winner, of course, Mark Jeffers. And the betting odds here for the fight you can see here, I think they're pretty interesting. Some pretty close calls, which is, again, why I wanted to do this card. I know it's not the biggest one, but if you're into these kind of closer, more competitive fights, I think this is a pretty good show. The lines to me, based on what I think is going to happen, of course, here, that are most interesting is Mayer at a plus 110, and of course the over-under, and the under being the more particular call for me here, in the Cullen versus Chelli fight, where you're getting a plus 180. I like the value in both of those picks, again, based on what I think might happen in those fights. But for the most part, I do think you're getting pretty decent odds, almost no matter where you look at it, outside of the over in the Jonas versus Mayer fight, which I do think the fight goes the distance, so pretty reasonable call for why that's going to be a minus 700. In any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of this recording is 3-0 with 2 exact, but let me know your thoughts, your bets, your picks, all that good stuff down in the comments. And of course, please be sure to like, comment, share, check out all the socials here. Greatly appreciated. And of course, be sure to visit JAYONBOXING.com for schedule, results, betting odds, grades, rankings, and more. And as always, until next time.